Greetings and welcome to this moment of reflection. Today's phrase is one that slices through illusion and points us toward something far more enduring. It says, aspiring to communicate with the purest attainable form of what is may be quite the quest, but it is futile attempting to make logic out of contrived stories. There is a longing many of us carry to touch what is real, to reach through distortion and interface with the truth directly. But the phrase brings a sobering reminder. No matter how sincere the effort, we will keep running into dead ends if we try to force meaning out of stories that were never true to begin with. So today, we soften the grip. We allow the quest for truth to remain sacred, while also releasing the urge to explain everything through borrowed or fabricated narratives. Let us breathe and begin. We live in a world steeped in storytelling. Stories to explain suffering, stories to justify systems, stories about who we are, who others are, and what life is supposed to mean. And perhaps most divisively, stories about our origins, where we came from, who was chosen, who was first, who deserves what. These narratives have shaped entire belief systems and fractured humanity in the process. But not all stories were innocent. Not all stories were myths created to point to deeper truths. Some stories were constructed deliberately and with precision to mislead, to justify control, to divide nations, to reinforce fear. And then there are the stories passed down within families, ones that may have once served a purpose, but now limit rather than guide. I was speaking with a friend recently, and he shared something deeply honest. He told me his mother always said that a woman's value was in how she dressed her body. Because of that, even now he feels offended when he sees women wearing clothes above the knee, unless it's at the beach. What struck me most wasn't just what he said. It was how deeply he believed it. A single sentence from his mother, repeated enough times, had shaped the way he moved through the world. It colored his reactions. It became a lens, not just for modesty, but for morality, respect, and judgment. One belief can distort everything else. We like to think our minds are neatly compartmentalized, but they are not. A belief in one corner eventually finds its way into all the others. What starts as a woman's worth is tied to how she dresses becomes, she must be less wise if she dresses that way, or she can't be sacred if her body is showing, or I need to control what I see so I don't feel uncomfortable. But it didn't start from truth. It started from a story. And the moment we name it, we take the first step toward freedom. And here's what is very rarely spoken. Living inside a false story doesn't just confuse your mind. It drains your spirit. It creates a low hum of shame, tension, and self-doubt. Because something in you knows it is off. False stories make you second-guess your intuition. They make you fear your freedom. And worst of all, they teach you to betray yourself in the name of being good. When you stop repeating the lie, it is not just about clarity. It is about healing the parts of you that were punished for questioning it. There is something even more astonishing when we observe what the world calls harmless fun. Entire cultures pause. Markets close. Schools let out. Traditions unfold for characters like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Stories we all know are not real. And yet we teach them to our children. We wrap them up in ritual. We center holidays, behavior, and even moral consequences around them. Be good or Santa won't come. Easter eggs will appear like magic. Are these innocent childhood traditions? Or have we become so used to rotating our lives around things that are not real that we no longer recognize when a deeper distortion is playing out? This is not about attacking holiday magic. It is about asking, when did we normalize collective delusion? And how do we reclaim the capacity to ask real questions instead of fearing we will spoil the fun? Because when imagination becomes indoctrination, when stories replace truth instead of pointing to it, we lose more than just clarity. We lose trust. We lose alignment. And most painfully, we lose our connection to what is. So the question becomes, are we afraid of letting go of these stories because we fear that without them, there's nothing left? Or could it be that beneath the fiction, something more radiant, something honest, holy, and healing is waiting to be seen? What storyline am I still trying to explain? A storyline that may simply need to be laid to rest. The quest to connect with truth beyond the storyline is not about collecting more explanations. It is about shedding distortion. Some lies do not need to be argued with. They do not need to be researched. They don't even need to be understood. You do not need to unravel every lie to find the truth. Sometimes you just need to stop repeating it. That act alone, refusing to echo distortion, creates space. Space for clarity, space for presence, space for the divine to speak without interference. Because truth doesn't argue, truth does not entertain, and truth does not flatter. It just is. And once you begin to vibrate with it, you'll know without needing a single word. May you find the courage to release the stories that no longer serve. May you see through the ones that were never true. And may your quest for divinity lead not through imagination, but through presence, alignment, and truth. Ashe.